Let's jump into the tier list. There are a couple of changes from the tier list you're usually used to mine. I usually have a ranking from like 100 to 55. I would usually do that, but for the purpose of this video, I changed it up to having double S the highest, D the lowest. And also I will not include every single advancement anymore from A0 to A5. I think it's going over the board, especially now with how the content works. I don't think it is necessary to do so. And in my opinion, looking at the game itself, you basically want to have every single unit you're using A5 minimum anyways. So that's why we want to rank them based on their highest advancements, which is A5. And based on that, we want to make sure we rank them properly. Now, first and foremost, all these SI units, I just put them all in irrelevant. Some of them do get used, for example, like Kim Sang-shik, for example, or Nam Che, but that's only for Battlefield of Time. When you play Jinwoo, you need that additional break. We sometimes use one of the other SR breakers as an additional break unit, but still that doesn't make them anywhere relevant because it's just as a support break. In that specific content, what we want to do is we want to rank all the SSR characters. Now let's start off with our very first unit, Cha, as the game launch, and we will end with Wetcha. I think this is like a proper list. So let's start off with Cha. Cha is S tier. Still a very good unit. You can use her everywhere. She's just good for light content, and there's like, you can't go wrong with her really. She does everything you want her to do. Obviously her damage could be better from if you look at the meta perspective, but still her damage is pretty damn good. And as well, you can still use her in Guild Boss and something like that. She's even used there, so that's completely fine. And that's why she's still deserving of her. She's not the top of the notch anymore in that sense, but the fact that she's out for a year and she's still pretty damn good, especially in light content, and you can even clear content. Like even Deimos hard mode, for example, you were even able to clear it with Cha. You didn't even need Thomas, even though it was designed for fire content. But yeah, that's for that. Emma, in my opinion, is at max A tier. Do I consider her putting in B tier? I'm not 100% sure yet. I put her for now in A tier. It might be subject to change. She's still a decent fire breaker. They increased the break effects of the breakers with this patch. I really have to deep dive into that to see how much it changed and if it did change a lot or if it just a minuscule change overall. They didn't change the wordings, like they didn't change like a weak break to a medium break, stuff like that. It's still, everything is still the same from a text perspective, but they adjusted the brakes so they are supposed to break a little bit stronger than before. But yeah, because we have Esil, I don't see a reason to rank her higher than that. She has her use in the weekly Battlefield of Time challenge for mob clearing and stuff, but outside of that, she does not do that much for you, and sometimes in Battlefield of Time, you can use her. Then we have Seo. Seo surprisingly gets an up rank for me. I usually would have put her like around D tier or C tier. I'm still contemplating, but I think based on what I've seen, she is getting a B tier. Now, why is she getting B tier? Many reasons. First of all, she is still one of the only two breakers in this game with now with Seorin in the addition. You probably, like, because of Seorin, I would have put her in D tier, because you have Seorin, you will never use Seo because it doesn't even make sense. While she is not a bad breaker in itself, the problem with her really is she doesn't offer any support to your team for your water DPS unit. She's just there, she's providing shields, a little bit of support, nothing in terms of like a damage boost or something, so that just makes her a pure breaker and nothing else. But why she's now getting a B ranking, in my opinion, is because of Guild Boss. And actually, if you use her in Guild Boss, she does pretty good damage. You can hit like 2 billion or something around that mark with her, so that's pretty decent. And just because of the Guild Boss, she is getting a B. But if, for example, water is rotating out of the Guild Boss, rotation, then I would rank her lower. Then she would be a C tier, maybe like a D tier. I don't know, probably C. But she would lose a rank for sure if water is not in the rotation. Now Bora for me is an easy S. I can't rank Bora lower than an S because Bora is literally used in any sort of team fight mode. Now in POD she lost a little bit of usage in terms of like overall support, but she for sure you're gonna use in the dark rotation, and in POD and in Guild Boss you're still gonna use her, and you can also use her as a support for Jinwoo, which helps out because she has that unique ability with her debuff where she just ignores break bars in general, which is huge. And since dark is not really relevant whatsoever, you can't even say like, oh, she does if she's belonging in the dark team or not. And because her weapon is so good with that crit rate debuff and crit damage that you afflict, just like debuff characters are very strong in this game, and the debuff effects on hunters increases their longevity in content overall. Choi is now actually an A tier character. He's actually pretty decent. You were able to clear like certain content with him. I think I saw Rudik even doing demos with him. I'm not 100% sure. I think I saw something Rudik even did it with Choi, and he's a vivid Choi enjoyer. Actually, still the reason why Choi is even relevant to this day is just his weapon. If you would remove his weapon, he would be irrelevant. But his weapon, the defense break, the debuff itself is just too good to not use. You see Choi everywhere. You see POD, Guild Boss. Well, actually, you see him in teamfight content. I wouldn't say you see him in that many different. Well, you could use him in War, but you could also use something else. Based on just his debuff, it's just so good you want to use it. And now with Wagner returning, that makes him even more interesting. That's why he gets an A rank. Lim is not that good right now. He had his time to shine, but here he's in C tier. He's a decent breaker. He has his utility, but really nothing special with him whatsoever. Then we have Silver. Silverman actually surprised me. You know, I was a certified Silver hater, but you know what? Nowadays, I think I became a little bit of an Silverman enjoyer myself. I even upgraded him. I have him like A6. I have his weapon at A5 or something around that time. So I actually played around with him with his bleed mechanics. And I do have to upgrade him. Like usually I have him like a bottom tier, but he got an upgrade all the way to A rank, guys. All the way to A rank. He does have, I can't put him in S tier. It doesn't make sense for me to put him anywhere there because there is stuff which he is lacking overall, but he's very good with enemies with high HP bars. He can shred a lot of these bars down. He's very powerful in that content. Like, for example, the Battlefield of Trials floor 70. The other characters which are supposed to deal a lot of damage could not remove the boss whatsoever, but him with his bleeding stacks, he could actually do some work which other hunters who you usually think they are very strong were really lacking. Then yeah, Wang Nongsu, I don't think we have anything to say about him. He's just straight D tier. Baek, in my opinion, is also C tier. He has decent usability because of that 5% debuff he has. I think it's a 5% defense break or 5% damage increase, and I can't remember one or the other, but which is sometimes useful. But at the end of the day, we have Gunhee, and if we don't have space for him, then he just doesn't see play, and that's why he's there. But he sometimes has usability. Now, obviously, Anna, I don't rank Anna, even though she has usability. I think I have to put her somewhere with Seo here, right into the B tier category. Usually I wouldn't put, but I just missed her. She's just for teamfight modes there. Anything else, not really relevant. Then we have Min. Where do we rank? Yeah, I can't. It's just... Min is still an S tier unit. You can't go wrong. Obviously, in teamfight modes, you're not gonna use him in teamfight modes. This is not where he shines. But in different modes, like in Battlefield of Time, oftentimes he's used in Battlefield of Time strats just to land the 15% damage increase effect. Stuff like that. You use him together with Thomas Andre. You're gonna use him together with Cha. This is like he's the overall universal buffer and the light buffer, and then to top it off, you always, like 99% of the time, maybe even 100% of the time, let me know in the comments down below, actually, when it comes to Min and when you're playing Sung Jin Woo, do you ever not use Min as a support? I think we all do, right? Min is something we all have equipped just because of that just makes him an S tier character. Because when you play Jin Woo, you can't play Jin Woo without Min. Easy as that. Han is an A tier character. By the way, I personally don't rank them anymore based on who's best, so I put him to the left. I just put him in the categories, and that's for that. But Han Zemi for me is A tier. She has some usable, like if you're running a win team, then usually of course you use her, right? And then what else does she really have? Her MP regen, which helps in team fight modes, especially in the guild boss. And yeah, that's about it. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy. That's why A tier. She's not better or worse than that. Now Wu Chinchul, in my opinion, is dropped hard. He would have been A tier before, but he's now definitely C tier just because we got Goto, and Goto's just the overall better breaker with the better effect, and he does not have any use. Maybe at some point in time where we need additional dashes for Jin Woo in certain content, then we can bring him to get 2 extra dashes, but outside of that. Now, one of the big drops, in my opinion, is going to be Alicia. Alicia usually I put like very high in S tier. This is where I usually put her just because of her effect. But you know what? I have to downrank. I can't put her in B tier. She's not that bad. She is not that bad. I still think, and that this is where I think, I still believe in Alicia's overall usability, even though it's hard. It's very hard for A. I have to rank her like super low on A, but that's just a design issue, really. I think she just needs some buff from that marble. The reason why Alicia in general is struggling is because Netmarble made the mistake to give her a freeze, like a CC, on her core DPS ability. And this is all it really is. Like, Netmarble realized that it was a mistake giving her a CC as a DPS. And that's why everything around, since Alicia got nerfed, that's why every enemy has like a freeze. Like, you can freeze an enemy, but then they have like a 10-second to 15-second freeze to resist, and that's only because of Alicia. Before that, that wasn't even in the game. And because of that, now imagine, guys, imagine Wetcha would have had that with a core attack. He made it crazy. Now we got Fisher. Fisher's also good. Fisher is an S tier unit. Like, you can't really go water without Fisher, and with everything going on now with I think like pre-Wetcha, you could have deranked her to A tier, but now with Wetcha, now with a water meta coming back to the game, and with the powerhouses there are, you have to give her the S tier. You use her in Guild Boss, you're gonna use her in POD, you will use her in Wobble for sure. That just puts her up there. Mirei, easy S tier as well, only wind DPS right now. This might be a subject to change with the next patch with Leonard coming out. We will see when it comes to that, but very simple, she's the only wind DPS in the game, and she's very powerful in what she's doing. That's for that. Then we got Goto. And not Goto, we got Gunhee. Gunhee, still best light breaker in the game. He also best light support in the game. You can't go wrong with him. Then we got Harper. Harper is also an S tier character. Or would I rank her lower than that? No, you know what? I rank Harper lower. She's an A tier character. She's not S tier, and I give you an explanation. While she is the best dark breaker in the game, dark breaking is not relevant, and that's why I put an A tier, even though she is. If we had a dark meta, then she would be an S, but because of that, she's A tier. Yu Soo-yoon, one of the best units in the game right now. Easy S tier. I think you could even rank her double S tier. And you know what? I think I will actually still put her. You know what? Never mind. I will put her in double S. And here's my reasoning. You can clear legitimately every single content in this game with her and the fire team. Even right now, the new wobble with yogurt, you can use a fire team with Yu Soo-yoon. You can't do that with any other character in the game. With her, you can do that. Now, if this would have been a guild boss tier list or a POD tier list, maybe even, then we could say yes, then obviously she's not the top. But this is an overall tier list with all the content in mind, and that just puts Yusuyon at the top of the top. Charlotte, also my opinion, A tier. Like, I think it really depends what you want to do. Like, Silver Main, for example, is better in content where you manual. In auto content, I wouldn't use him. Therefore, in POD, for example, you would rather use like a Charlotte, for example. But with Health Bars, I feel like they're neck to neck currently. And that's why I can't give Charlotte a higher ranking than A. Then we got Isla. Isla is an easy S tier. Still one of the best supports in the game. Very good. You can also throw in any team. She does what she's supposed to do. Then we got another double S with Kanae. I mean, is there anything to say about Kanae? I feel like she got a little bit weaker for Fagner, for the guild boss, because it's not the end with the ads. But outside of that, she's a very strong character. She does what she's supposed to do. And you can't go wrong with her. Very powerful character overall. Then we got Thomas Andre. Thomas Andre is still a very powerful character. Even though I feel like the only reason he doesn't shine as much is because he doesn't have a dedicated support unit, which just buffs him up by a lot. This is the only struggle he has right now. But overall, he's still a very solid unit. Then we got Gina. Gina is the fire support unit. Now it's hard for me to like, since we are saying meta relevant stuff, so she has to be actually an S tier, as well as she has really good effects. She has like attack buff, fire damage buff, she has mana regen, everything you kind of need from a character. And since we're using the fire team anyways in content, that puts her in S tier as well. Esil, very good effects, very good breaker. They buff breaking now, so that doesn't play a role into their tier list right now. But very good effects and part of the fire team, and she basically is the enabler for the fire team with the stacks and everything going on. So that's what that. Then we got Akari. I think I do rank Akari slightly higher than the rest of the people. I think Akari is not deserving of being that low. I still think she's a B tier character just because of her support skill. Her support skill is not that bad for Jinwoo, because you have basically an uptime the entire time. This is like 24% crit rate, damage increase buff, whatever she else offers, which is very good. If you have her A5, not A0, but A5, she's a really good support for Jinwoo as well. So you can use her in that sense. Obviously, right now, the light team struggles, but the reason why I think it also struggles is because Akari was supposed to be stronger, and pre-patch they nerfed her, and that's what you really notice in the game with her. Now Seorin is an easy S character, very strong breaker. As now what the water team needs is additional water damage buffs. Can't go wrong with her. Really solid unit, powerful unit, and she's really good at breaking. And also, not only does she break, she actually does good damage as well. Then we got Goto. Goto, we gotta put an S as well. There's like multitude of reasons. So first and foremost, you have his break abilities, which are insane. Then you have the support he provides to the wind element team, also with the damage boost and everything going on with him. And then also when you put a character in the first slot, so you could even use him like as a universal buffer in a sense with any other element if you want to, really, and that what puts him up there as well. I can't rank him lower because he's just too good at what he does, and I'm looking at the character from that specific perspective. Then last but not least, and also Leonard is coming next patch, so that's why with Goto together you will see what else we can do with the win team. Last but not least, we have now Wetcha. Wetcha is definitely for sure a double S tier character. She's very powerful. For example, she is, when you do, for example, floor 70, I think in Battlefield of Trials is where you can actually compare these characters because there's no element. Wetcha is so powerful, she can actually deal with that boss in floor 70, which is extremely tanky. Kanae couldn't deal with that guy, but Wetcha can, and that is actually insane. Plus, then currently her essentials are bugged, or either it's bugged or it's a flawed game design with her. Instead of having her buff for 15 seconds, it only lasts for 6 seconds, and that is what she struggles with. She doesn't have a super armor effect outside of her core spamming that you can theoretically lose on her rotation, so you have to be a little bit careful. And with auto battle because of that issue. She could, the thing is though, she already does a lot of damage, by the way. So she does a lot of damage, but if they change that issue, she will deal even more damage, which is insane if you compare it to other characters right now. But yeah, guys, this sums up the entire tier list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This is how I rank these characters for this patch. There is no specific order, by the way, about from worst to best. Not ranked in that, just putting them in a category with everything I explained right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm curious. And hey guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like in the comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.